Hello, Year 12. This is another podcast that was requested by somebody in my class to look at some different sections of the text of 1984. So early on in the novel, right at the beginning of the novel, after we learn that the clock struck 13 on a bright, cold April day, we then get this vivid image of Winston entering Victory Mansions. So Winston Smith, his chin nuzzled into his breast in an effort to escape the vile wind, slipped quickly through the glass doors of Victory Mansions, though not quickly enough to prevent a swirl of gritty dust from entering along with him. The hallway smelt of boiled cabbage and old rag mats. Winston made for the stairs. It was no use trying the lift. Even at the best of times it was seldom working, and at present the electric current was cut off during daylight hours. The flat was 7 flights up, and Winston, who was 39, had a varicose ulcer above his right ankle, went slowly, resting several times on the way. So what we have going on here is a description of the mansions themselves and also a bit of a description of Winston, which both create strong imagery but an allusion to World War II London, where due to bombings and ration control, a lot of the buildings were falling apart and electricity was rationed. It was turned off for a long time in certain parts, and gas as well, for certain hours each day because they had to save on resources. And life was really hard in Second World War London. But what we have what we call literary naturalism being used in the imagery to evoke visions of this World War II London. And don't forget, Oceania is based on London. But what we have here is a materially deprived society that is crippling. We get the idea that it's crippling because of the varicose ulcer above the right ankle. But we have other things that are happening here. So with this varicose ulcer, we also have a vile wind, and then a need to escape the vile wind. So even outside, there's something that is ominous about what's going on, even with the weather. So the pathetic fallacy of the vile wind, and we have the gritty dirt, gritty dust, the swirl of gritty dust, and the smell of boiled cabbage and old rag mats. And then the idea that the lifts seldom working as well. And all of them, and we combine it with Winston being 39. A 39-year-old man is not old. But here we get this idea that perhaps he is old before his time. And so we have this with his ankle, with he being 39, but with his ankle and needing to rest several times on the way, lifts that aren't working, and a building that's falling down. We get this idea of weakening and decay, of age, and it's an allusion to the society. It's ironically named Victory Mansions, that the whole lot alludes to a society that is decaying and not working. And it's a depiction that this world that Big Brother has created is not the right world. If you contrast this to O'Brien's apartment and that luxury that he lives in, he has his servant, he can drink what wine he likes, he can turn off the telly screen, he has the cigars, he's not limited to Victory Gin, he has that wonderful meal that is served as well. And there's this opulence and luxury in everything that he's having. And it is this idea that the two are juxtaposed. This world of Winston's for Victory Mansions and the world of O'Brien's in his luxurious and opulent abundance. It gives us the extremes of the fascist society that's been alluded to the whole way through this. And what you have to be really careful of when you're doing your contextual links is that even though there are parts of this novel that do evoke images of Hitler and Germany in World War II, Orwell is actually having a look at a totalitarian government, particularly looking at the Soviet Union of the 1930s. And Oceania is an allegorical Soviet Union. And we get that because we have the rewriting of history, we have the political trials that take place, we have these confessions that are induced from torture. There's the secret police. You've got the labor camps when Winston knows that that even though there are no laws, that when he does something wrong, it's punishable by death, or it's a 25-year labor camp, which alludes to the Soviet Union salt mines. And then we've even this cult following that we get a Big Brother, and this idea that they love Big Brother. Don't forget, in the end, Winston loves Big Brother, and it alludes to the cult following that Stalin had. So these are a very important section of the novel, even though it's right at the beginning and it's just setting us up. It already gives us this illusion of a world that is decaying. And it's echoed later on in the text with the churches crumbling, the forgetting of the oranges and lemons, the memory that's losing, and eventually, of course, the decay of language when language is taken away because of newspeak. I hope that helps. Enjoy.